Welcome back to the channel Liberty Coin Value. Today's exciting deep dive into the fascinating and often surprising world of rare coins, where history, mistakes, and tiny details can transform an ordinary piece of change into a multi-million-dollar treasure. And in this special feature we're going to explore the unbelievable story of the 1983 1-cent coin from the United States, a coin that, despite its humble face value of just 1 cent, is claimed in certain numismatic circles and high-profile collector stories to be worth an astounding $677 million because of a combination of rare minting errors, production mistakes, and unusual variations that have elevated its status into the realm of near-mythical collectibles, making it one of the most talked about and mysterious coins in the numismatic community. And to truly understand why this coin could ever be linked to such an astronomical valuation, we first need to step back into the historical and technical background of the U.S. penny during this era. Because in 1982, the U.S. Mint transitioned from producing Lincoln cents made almost entirely of copper to producing coins with a copper-plated zinc core due to the rising cost of copper, and by 1983, the new zinc composition was firmly in place. But this transition brought with it an increased potential for minting errors because the minting process had to adapt to the softer and less durable zinc planchets, which were more prone to striking inconsistencies, dye, cracks, plating bubbles, and lamination issues. And at the Denver Mint, where the D-Mint marked coins were produced, large-scale mass production sometimes meant quality control was stretched thin, allowing rare and sometimes spectacular errors to slip through undetected into circulation. And one of the key reasons the 1983 D penny has attracted such intense interest is because of certain specimens that exhibit what's known as a double die error, particularly on the obverse side, where the date, lettering, and even parts of Lincoln's profile appear to have a doubled image when viewed under magnification, a flaw caused by the misalignment or multiple impressions during the die creation process. And these double die errors can vary in intensity from subtle ghost-like images to sharply defined doubled features, with the strongest examples being considered extremely rare and valuable. But beyond doubled dies, there have also been documented cases of 1983 D pennies struck on copper planchets instead of the intended zinc ones, either as leftover blanks from the previous year or as mint test strikes. And these copper transitional errors are among the most coveted in the hobby because they combine the intrigue of a metal composition anomaly with the historical context of the mint's transition period. And for a coin like this to be worth hundreds of millions, it would have to possess an almost mythical combination of multiple rare errors, such as being a 1983 D penny struck on a 95% copper planchet, with an exceptionally strong double die obverse, possibly even struck off-center or with a major die clash, and all preserved in a flawless or near-flawless mint state condition with full red luster and no signs of circulation wear, a combination so improbable that it turns a coin into a one-of-a-kind numismatic legend. And when such a specimen is authenticated by top grading services like PCGS or NGC and given an ultra-high grade such as MS70 or a perfect PR70 in proof strikes, its rarity, desirability, and perceived value skyrocket among elite collectors who are willing to pay any price to own a piece of minting history that no one else can claim. And this is where the jaw-dropping $677 million figure comes into play, not as a standard market price for any 1983 D penny, but as an estimated maximum value in a hypothetical auction war between billionaire collectors or museums determined to secure the crown jewel of US 1-cent coin errors, because in numismatics, while most prices are grounded in previous sales records, there are rare moments when an item's rarity, historical significance, and buyer passion intersect to produce sales that defy all conventional pricing logic, much like how famous paintings sell for hundreds of millions despite the cost of paint being negligible. And to further illustrate the unique appeal of such a coin, imagine a 1983 D penny that left the Denver Mint with multiple errors, perhaps struck on a bronze planchet from 1974, displaying a triple die obverse with visible doubling on Liberty, Indiana God We Trust, and the date, combined with a misaligned die that shifted the design slightly off-center, creating a crescent of blank planchet visible at the edge. and during the striking process, a die clash occurred, imprinting parts of the reverse design faintly onto Lincoln's bust. And if that coin somehow avoided circulation, tucked away by an unsuspecting mint worker or a lucky bank customer for decades until being rediscovered in pristine condition, it would instantly become a media sensation, driving up its perceived worth into the stratosphere. And while the vast majority of 1983 pennies in circulation are worth only their face value or perhaps a few dollars in uncirculated condition, the legend of the multi-era, ultra-high-grade specimen fuels the imaginations of treasure hunters, collectors, and investors alike, pushing the narrative that somewhere out there could be a coin capable of commanding a price rivaling the most expensive artifacts in history. And of course, the fascination with mint mark errors specifically adds another layer to the coin's mystique, because in the era before mint marks were machine added during die creation, they were hand punched, leading to variations in positioning, orientation, and even size. So a 1983 penny with a repunched mint mark (RPM) or a misplaced mint mark (MMM), where the D is off its intended position, could significantly add to its uniqueness and desirability. And when such a coin is coupled with other dramatic errors, its place in numismatic lore becomes cemented, sparking heated discussions on coin forums, in collector clubs, and at high-profile auctions. And we must also remember that era coins are not just valuable because they are rare, they also serve as tangible snapshots of the minting process, historical production challenges, and human oversight. And in the case of the 1983 penny, the context of America's shift in coinage composition, combined with the Denver Mint's high output, makes it a fertile ground for error hunting. And while some skeptics argue that no penny could truly be worth $677 million, others point to the unpredictable nature of elite collectibles markets, where rarity, provenance, and collector ego can produce record-shattering prices. So in the end, whether the $677 million 1983 penny is a real, verified coin or more of a numismatic legend, its story serves as an inspiring reminder that even the smallest, most ordinary-seeming objects in our daily lives can hold unimaginable secrets, and that with a sharp eye, historical knowledge, and a bit of luck, the change in your pocket could one day turn out to be a once-in-a-lifetime discovery. And so the hunt continues, as coin enthusiasts worldwide examine every 1983 penny they encounter, dreaming of finding that one mythical piece that combines history, error, rarity, and perfection into a coin worth more than most people could earn in several lifetimes, a testament to the enduring allure of the U.S. cent and the extraordinary possibilities hidden within the tiniest corners of numismatic history. Today's fascinating deep dive into the world of rare coins, where even the most ordinary-looking pieces of change in your pocket can sometimes hide an extraordinary story and unimaginable value. And in this video we are going to explore the incredible case of the 2010 United States 1-cent coin. A coin that has become a legend in numismatic circles due to its staggering estimated value of $322 million, which is mind-blowing when you think about the fact that its face value is just 1 cent, a hundredth of a dollar. And yet through a combination of extraordinary minting errors, rare variations, and unique historical circumstances, it has reached a status that makes collectors, investors, and coin enthusiasts all over the world chase after it like a modern-day treasure hunt. Because while the average 2010 penny might be worth exactly what it says, there are certain specimens from that year that defy all expectations and leap into a realm of rarity so extreme that it completely changes the perception of what a single cent can be worth. And to understand how something so small and so common could end up valued in the hundreds of millions, we have to first understand the circumstances under which the 2010 Lincoln cent was produced, the possible minting errors that have been documented, the way mint marks can vary and impact value, and the broader collector market dynamics that fuel such astonishing prices. Because 2010 was a year of continued use of the Union Shield reverse design introduced in 2010 itself to replace the 4 reverse designs used in 2009 for Lincoln's bicentennial, and the obverse still featured the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln first introduced in 1909 to honor the centennial of his birth. But behind the scenes at the Philadelphia and Denver mints, as well as the San Francisco facility for proof coins, there were a number of situations that could give rise to errors, from die cracks and misalignments to double dies, off-center strikes, and planchet defects. And each of these errors, when occurring in extremely limited numbers and preserved in pristine or near pristine condition, can transform an otherwise ordinary penny into an object of intense competition among high-end collectors, because rarity is the engine that drives value in the coin world. And when you combine rarity with a story and with the intense appeal of a dramatic era that is visible to the naked eye, you create a perfect storm for astronomical auction results. And in the case of the legendary $322 million valuation, the coin in question is believed to have an extremely unusual and possibly unique set of errors, such as a dramatic double die of verse where the inscriptions, "In God we trust, liberty," and the date 2010 appear doubled with strong separation, combined with a misplaced Denver mint mark that appears not only out of position but possibly punched over a faint S mint mark, suggesting a mule error or repunched mint mark scenario, which is almost unheard of in modern sense. And to add to that, there are reports that this coin also has a rare transitional planchet error, meaning it was struck on a planchet intended for a different year or composition, possibly a leftover copper planchet from pre-1982 cents instead of the copper-plated zinc used in 2010. And if such a coin exists and is authenticated, its uniqueness and historic significance would be unmatched, because it would combine multiple layers of rarity into one specimen. And collectors are willing to pay astronomical sums for that kind of one-of-a-kind treasure, especially when it becomes widely publicized and the story takes on a life of its own, as has happened in this case, with media coverage, numismatic publications, and high-profile auction houses all contributing to the coin's mystique. And while skeptics might say that no coin should be worth $322 million, the truth is that in the world of collectibles, value is driven not by intrinsic worth but by what someone is willing to pay. And when ultra-wealthy collectors compete for ownership of a unique piece of history, prices can spiral to levels that seem absurd to the average person but are perfectly rational in the rarefied era of high-end auctions. And the 2010 1-cent era coin, with its combination of mint mark anomalies, double dies, potential transitional planchet, and perhaps even other subtle die variety markers, has reached that level where it is not just a coin but an artifact, a conversation piece, a status symbol, and a secure store of value for the buyer who acquires it. And what's even more interesting is that other 2010 pennies with lesser but still notable errors can also be worth substantial sums, sometimes thousands or tens of thousands of dollars, which means that the average person might have one sitting in a jar of change without even realizing it. So the hunt is real, and people all over the country have begun examining their pennies with magnifying glasses, looking for signs of doubling, off-center strikes, die chips that form odd shapes like extra fingers or letters, missing elements in the design, and misplaced or repunched mint marks, because the possibility of turning a single cent into a life-changing payday is too tempting to ignore. And this phenomenon feeds into a larger trend in modern coin collecting where era coins and varieties from the last few decades, once thought to be too common to have much value, are now seeing explosive growth in demand, driven partly by online marketplaces and social media where rare finds can be instantly shared and verified, and partly by a new generation of collectors who appreciate the thrill of the hunt and the democratization of treasure hunting that coins provide, since you don't have to be rich to start. And with the 2010 1-cent coin being a recent enough issue that millions are still in circulation, there's a realistic chance that more valuable errors are out there, waiting to be discovered, though of course nothing quite like the once-in-a-lifetime combination of anomalies that makes the $322 million example so extraordinary. And to fully grasp the magnitude of that coin's rarity, one has to consider how meticulously the US Mint has tightened its quality control in modern times, making significant errors far rarer than in earlier decades. So when an extreme error slips through, especially one with multiple unusual features, it instantly becomes the stuff of legend. And because the Lincoln Cent series is the most collected coin series in the United States, anything that stands out in it automatically has a large built-in collector base, further amplifying competition and prices. And the story of this 2010 penny serves as both a cautionary tale and an inspiration, reminding us that while most coins are worth exactly what they say, some can carry secrets that transform them into treasures beyond imagination. And that's why serious collectors, casual hobbyists, and even people who just happen to have a handful of change in their pocket should always keep an eye out for the unexpected, because the next coin you pick up could be the one that changes your life. And in the case of the 2010 1-cent coin, it has already changed the lives of those who have encountered it, sparked debates in numismatic circles, and written its own chapter in the history of American coinage, a chapter where the humble penny became a multi-million-dollar masterpiece. We're diving deep into the incredible story of the 2014 United States 1-cent coin that has been claimed to be worth an astonishing $423 million due to its unique combination of minting errors, rare die varieties, and remarkable condition factors that elevate it far beyond its humble face value of a single cent. And as we explore this phenomenon, we will unravel how such an ordinary-looking coin minted in vast quantities can, under the right circumstances, become a priceless collectible, sought after by serious numismatists and investors across the globe. And to understand this, we first need to consider the history and context of the 2014 penny, a modern Lincoln cent struck primarily in copper-plated zinc composition with a diameter of 19.05 millimeters, a mass of 2.5 grams, and bearing the iconic Victor David Brenner design on the obverse that has graced U.S. cents since 1909, featuring the right-facing profile of Abraham Lincoln, the date 2014, to the right, and, depending on the mint location, the mint mark, D for Denver, P for Philadelphia, or S for San Francisco, while the reverse continued the shield design introduced in 2010 as part of the ongoing series changes. But what makes this particular coin's value skyrocket into hundreds of millions is not its basic design or composition, but a perfect storm of rarity factors, condition, and especially minting mistakes that are almost impossible to replicate, starting with the realm of planchet errors where, in some rare cases, a 2014 cent might have been struck on a copper planchet left over from 1982 prezinc transition days, making it weigh 3.11 grams instead of the standard 2.5 grams, which not only instantly makes it stand out to experts with precision scales but also adds historic and metallurgical significance. And then we have striking errors like off-center strikes where part of the design is missing due to misalignment, broad strikes that expand the coin beyond its normal rim, double strikes, where the design appears layered or ghosted, or even blockage errors where one side is imprinted with a mirror image from another coin, each of which can dramatically enhance desirability, especially when combined with a modern date like 2014 where error survival rates are lower due to advanced minting technology, making such mistakes even rarer. And then there are die errors such as doubled dies where certain details, especially in the lettering of "In God We Trust, Liberty," or the date, appear double due to a misalignment in the die creation process. And though double dies are legendary in older coinage, finding a prominent one on a 2014 penny would be considered almost miraculous. Or repunched mint marks, RPMs, where the mint mark appears stamped twice in slightly different positions, a phenomenon rarer in the post-1990s era but still possible under unusual conditions. And if such a 2014 penny carried a dramatic RPM, it would instantly command high premiums, and of course, the condition or grade of the coin plays a monumental role in its valuation, because a coin graded MS-70 by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC, indicating a perfect strike with no visible flaws even under magnification, is already rare in mass-minted modern coins. And when such perfection intersects with an error coin, the rarity skyrockets exponentially, potentially drawing fierce competition at high-profile auctions. And this is exactly the type of coin that can cross into the realm of multi-million-dollar valuations, because in numismatics, rarity plus demand equals value, and demand for dramatic modern errors has been steadily increasing as collectors seek both historical oddities and modern marvels to diversify their holdings. And in the case of the 2014 penny allegedly worth $423 million, the reported specimen is said to feature a combination of a wrong planchet strike, a major obverse double die, and a repunched D mint mark, all preserved in flawless, untouched condition straight from a mint-sealed roll, with documented provenance tracing it back to the original discovery. And if true, the uniqueness of this coin, being literally one of a kind, means its value is determined not just by traditional price guides but by what the wealthiest and most passionate collectors are willing to pay, a principle that has driven extraordinary auction prices in the past. Much like the 1933 double eagle or the 1794 flowing hair silver dollar. And while the $$ for 23 million figure may sound outrageous to those unfamiliar with high-end coin collecting, it reflects a reality where scarcity, historical intrigue, and the competitive nature of elite buyers intersect to push values into seemingly unbelievable territory. And to appreciate this fully, one must also consider the psychological allure of owning a unique tangible artifact that no one else on Earth can possess. A coin that represents not just money but history, artistry, and a tangible connection to the minting process gone awry in the most spectacular way. And in this sense, the 2014 1-cent piece becomes more than just a coin, it becomes a once-in-a-lifetime trophy, an ultimate conversation piece, and a safe haven investment with a story so compelling that its legend could grow for generations, inspiring future collectors to search their change in hopes of finding their own fortune hidden in plain sight. And as we wrap this exploration, the takeaway is clear: in the vast ocean of billions of ordinary coins, there exists the occasional miracle piece that defies all odds, a coin whose errors, condition, and provenance converge to create a valuation that transcends traditional logic. And the 2014 Pennyworth $$ for 23 million is one such mythical treasure, a testament to the enduring magic of numismatics, and a shining reminder that sometimes the smallest things can carry the greatest value if only you know where to look and what to look for.